My name is Dr.Renee Mudrey, and I am the owner and founder of Transcendent Heart Life Coaching. Thank you for joining me for this discussion of why you must feel to heal. No matter what you may be experiencing at this moment in time, emotional pain is real. Recognizing the signs of your emotional pain is first and foremost most significant. And not pretending as though it doesn't exist. The longer that you will ignore your emotional pain, the longer it will endure. So it is to your advantage to begin to acknowledge that you are hurt, that you are experiencing emotional pain. Recognition is the first key to any particular program. Emotional healing is no different. You also may be experiencing great physical pain along with your emotional pain, as this is very normal. The brain doesn't have the ability to interpret the difference. And so your body will begin to manifest, whether it's tightness in your chest, abdominal issues, digestive issues, muscle aches and pains, inability to sleep, focus, or concentrate. Recognize again that this is part of the healing process. It is really important that you again remind yourself that you do need to heal to feel. We often want to run away from the pain because it can become too much at times. If it ever is too much at times, I do recommend that you reach out for support, whether that be a therapist, a best friend, a parent, a teacher. Whatever it might be, you do not have to do this journey alone. But again, recognizing the pain and beginning to feel it is going to be the first step in your process of healing. There is much discussion and debate about whether men and women experience, manage, regulate, and feel emotions differently. But one of the things that I have truly experienced through my own research and my own lived experiences is that there truly isn't a difference based on gender. A lot of the emotional experiences and the way that these emotions are manifested, the way that these emotions are expressed or lack thereof, have a lot more to do with other things in your life. One of the things that would be worthwhile to consider is if you already were a highly sensitive individual, if you find yourself being truly empathic, always able to pick up on the emotions, feelings, experiences of others. And if you are, when you experience your own emotional pain, it's even greater. And so maybe taking a moment at this time to say, why am I feeling such extreme pain? Why am I unable to move past this? Why does it seem that other people can just kind of let it go quicker than I can? It may very much be because you are more of a truly empathic or sensitive individual. And because of that, you feel things differently, you experience things differently. And so I caution you in being too harsh on yourself and how quickly you should move through this process. As William Bridges, the greatest researcher on transitions, has indicated, there's a middle space that we often find ourselves in called the neutral zone. And this neutral zone between the ending and the new beginning can take a variety of different times. It can be greater for some people and far less for others. And so again, after you've recognized that you are experiencing true emotional pain, there is no particular length of time that one should stay in the neutral zone. It really is about trusting that inner voice. Trust your intuition, trust that inner voice, and know that because you may be feeling this harder or experiencing it harder or longer, may very much have more to do with the fact of you being more empathic and sensitive to begin with. The field of emotion regulation and emotion management is relatively new. Some of the founders out there, such as Dr. Rosemary Sutton, Dr. Carl Wheatley, truly were the pioneers in this field in the early 2000s, late 1990s. And what we find ourselves understanding is that we as humans often want to uplift, or what we call upregulate, the positive emotions such as love, joy, pride, empathy, hope, and happiness. And we want to stay there more. We want to exacerbate those positive feelings and have more of those endorphin experiences. And when those negative experiences, those negative feelings and emotions begin to come into our subconscious, such as regret, hate, and fear, and anger, and shame, and sadness, we want anything but to experience them. We want to downregulate or push them down to their core as much as we can. And in this field, one of the things I can tell you is that it will be more advantageous if you would actually just allow the negative to be more neutral. Don't allow it to be so powerful to the point that you have to push it down so far to not deal with it. But you also don't have to fake it till you make it. A lot of people will argue, as you are in these emotional experiences, that you just have to ignore it. You have to go on and do something different and distract your own mind, distract yourself. That'll only last for so long, and then it's going to come and well back up. And if you treat negative emotions in more neutral ways, they won't have as much power over you. And so I highly recommend that, again, you begin to experience, you begin to feel, and know that the quicker you get in touch with those negative emotions, the faster those will move away. So how do you begin to let go of painful emotions? Letting go of emotional suffering associated with negative emotions is not the same as letting go of the emotions themselves. Letting go of the suffering is this process that we as individuals can actually learn to do. And we don't mean to push away or to stuff down those emotions. These emotions are valid and they represent experiences and interactions that were painful for you. But in learning to let go of our emotional suffering, mindfulness and mindfulness skills will be going a very long way in aiding you and helping you pass this experience. One of the strategies in mindfulness is to get some distance from your emotions. And in doing so, it's really highly recommended that you go into a quiet place and you just begin to get in a sense of calm and stand back and observe your emotional experience. If you can get some distance and see it more clearly, it won't be as powerful. Put it over there. Put it over in the corner. Maybe as if it were in a separate aspect of the room or on a stage. And describe in words what the experience of that emotion looks like. This will help give you that distance, to help give you the perspective. It allows you to remove the emotion away from your own self, your own being, by putting it over there. And just as you were looking at someone else, you can look at the emotional experience for what it is. You can even talk to it. You can even say to it something along the way as, I understand that you're hurting, and I'm sorry that you're hurting. And I know that this has been a tough journey, but I know deep inside that you want to be better. You want to move on. You want to have more. And as you begin to talk to it, it is almost as though it's a person or a thing or something other outside of you. And it becomes more powerful to allow you to look at your emotions. You are exposing yourself to them. You're looking and describing, not necessarily acting or feeling overwhelmed by the emotions. So how do you move on now that you have acknowledged your emotional pain? You have begun to recognize and begin to feel that pain. You've practiced some mindfulness strategies to remove the emotion from your own self and to put it over there and allow it to become something outside of you that you can actually contain and understand and aid and help. One of the things is moving on and releasing and letting go. Releasing is a very, very powerful strategy, and to be able to visualize the release as though it was a bird being released from a cage or something along those lines goes a long way and is actually quite helpful. And one of the things, too, that I highly recommend to individuals that I work with is to utilize a release prayer, to find something that's really meaningful to you, that as you say it, you truly believe it, you truly begin to experience it, and you know that it is time to let it go. And so one of the things that I know for sure is that you too will move on. You will experience a release. You will be whole again because you already are. You just have to believe it. You need to be able to see that life is exactly as you had anticipated and everything will be okay. And so take some time to release. Take some time to be with yourself. Love yourself again. And know that everything in time will be better. I often look to my own self and my own strength, particularly in the new year, and remind myself of all the things that I've been through and how I always have gotten through them, and that everything always works out exactly the way that it's supposed to. So I wish you well on your journey of emotional recovery. And if forever there is a moment or a time that you feel you need some additional help and you're just not able to get unstuck, please feel free to reach out to me at Transcendent Heart Life Coaching. This is Dr. Renee. Thank you for your time and blessings.